Hello YouTube, it is Fancy Ellie here tonight on Transcending Origins. This week's topic is coming out to your partner or significant other. Um, well, when I first actually started coming out to people, I never came out to a significant other because I wasn't dating anybody at the time. So what I'm going to talk about is when I came out to my best friend, who I'd actually had dated her for 6.5 years before we had broken up, and then we became best friends. And so we already had this very, very, very close relationship that existed. And the way I first kind of the first came out to her was it was not really in like any direct manner. It wasn't like I am transgender, accept me type of thing. It was actually kind of this progressive thing. Like I had kind of dropped hints over time, and then yeah, after a little while, it was kind of like she kind of kept questioning it, like, well, what am I specifically? Am I gay? Am I whatever? And then she kind of suggested it to some degree herself. And then one day at coffee, I kind of was just kind of looking across from her. I was like, well, I really should at least be honest with her about my activities in regards to, like, well, I've been cross-dressing for so long, and I really had a lot of these feelings, and I really felt like I should share it with her. And at that point, I just decided, you know what, let's just do it and roll with it and see what happens. So kind of, whenever I have told people to this point, or whenever I have to talk to somebody about anything that's like particularly serious, I kind of get like this overwhelmingly, like I get kind of like I have this hot flash over me, and I get very kind of like I feel kind of almost out of body when I'm doing it, and that's kind of how it happened. I came out to her in that way, and so when I did let her know, she was kind of like, oh, this makes sense, you know, this is what I've been kind of suggesting all along. And, you know, but in essence, like, kind of coming out to her was coming out to myself, really, because it's like, it was my first step in saying, you know, I'm no longer going to keep this a secret. I'm no longer going to just keep this shut up in my own little world. And it was quite the load off in doing it. And her reaction, I mean, initially was just great. Up until like I started actually going out. Her and me went out to like a club, I think, first, with me dressed up. I think that's how that first happened. And then I noticed that she started getting really sad about it, and she started to kind of like afterwards she started to cry a little bit about it because she started feeling, I guess, like the realization that she's kind of losing a friend. Well, that was her realization. Obviously, like throughout time, she's kind of realized that that's not really the case. But that was her first like real thought about it, and so she was feeling like she was losing her guy friend, and then now having to gain this new person. Because I mean, well, in essence, neither her nor me really knew how this was all gonna roll out and everything. So when she really started kind of coping with it is like when we realized that, well, you know, I'm not really changing aside from my physical appearance and my role. And so, I mean, it felt really good in actually doing this. And then consequently, since she is like friends with all of my friends and like my family and stuff, it really kind of aided along the process in coming out to everybody else. And it made really nice actually having that support system kind of there. It's like it kind of progressively built, and just she was like, you know, the first person, and everybody else kind of like built up around her, and as the people I've been coming out to. And it's just felt like I've had this support system right from the beginning when I first started coming out to people. Now I know like a lot of people have had a lot of different experiences with like coming out to like their significant others, and I don't even really pretend to know like the more rough cases of those types of things because I've only heard pretty much positive cases to this point. um, but yeah, that's my story with it. Um, yeah, good night, YouTube.